everybody? My name is Julian Leonard. I am the owner of the J Leonard Group, also known as the J Leonard Public Speaking and Coaching Group. For the last 4 weeks, I've been uploading tips, basically talking about things to consider when you hit the stage as a speaker. We've talked about when memorization is a bad crutch, storytelling is your greatest weapon, credit due, giving credit, stating your sources, and also a speaker's checklist was my most recent public speaking tip. But today, we're going to be doing a little bit different. I've been receiving questions, and they're more of a deep dive on things I've been talking about in relation to public speaking. So today I'm going to read 5 questions and answer them, and hopefully this gives you even a better breakdown on not only the topics I've been talking about, but just different talks revolving speaking in general. And honestly, a lot of these questions, or some of these questions that I'm going to talk about, I was actually going to talk about in future tips. But hey, we can already go talk about them right now. So without any further delay, question number 1. What is your best technique for successfully delivering a keynote speech? I have a 45-minute keynote speech coming up on a topic I love, but I'm afraid I'll forget something. The thing you have to remember as a speaker is that you're never going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. What do I mean by that? You could present for 45 minutes, the crowd could be into it, you can have the emotion, the content is great, and at the end of that 45 minutes when you exit the stage, you may forget one fact, you may have forgotten one story to include, you may have just forgotten something. And that's what I mean by there's no perfect speaker. But in order to make sure you have the best impact possible, I think it starts with structure. So in 45 minutes, I'd say you have introduction, 3 main points, and a conclusion. Introduction being 2 to 3 minutes, maybe no longer than 5 minutes, each point being 8 to 10 minutes. So right there you had 30 to 35 minutes, and then your conclusion, which should be a good 3 to 5 minutes. That right there is right under 45 minutes, depending on how you talk, speech rate, nervousness, things of that nature. You hit your 45 minutes, go over 45 minutes, or be under 45 minutes. But I suggest that as a basic structure. Introduction, 3 main points, and a conclusion, with those 3 main points being 8 to 10 minutes. And if you do that in practice, you will deliver the best speech that you can. You may honestly forget something. I'm not saying you remember every single thing that you need to deliver, but I think it starts with organization and figuring out, hey, this is the learning outcomes I want my audience to leave with. By learning outcomes, I'm meaning, what is it that you want the audience to take with them, apply in their life, and see success? Or what is it that you want to stick in your audience's mind long after you leave the stage? So organization and impact are the 2 main things I think goes into having a successful 45-minute keynote. And don't stress if you don't remember everything, you have another time to hit the stage. All right. Question number 2. How do you manage your nerves before you speak? Do you even get nervous? Is there a universal tip you have? I don't get nervous in a bad way when I speak. I think it's 2 things. Number 1, you can get nervous from not preparing. You can get nervous from just having too much on your plate. You can get nervous from not preparing the right way. On the other hand, you can get nervous from simply wanting to do a good job. So I think I fall in that category where I get jitters. You just get hype, anxious, but it's never nervousness to a point that it affects my delivery. So if that answers your question, yes, I get nervous, but not in a bad way. And you also asked, is there a universal tip you have? You honestly got to think. There's somebody out there who wants to hear what you have to say. There's somebody out there that could benefit from the message that you have. And so that's the universal tip. Deliver that message, and you might not please everybody. It might not connect with everybody, but you got to just connect with one person. All right. So that would be my tip. Question number 3. This is kind of long. Let me see. Within the last 6 months, I received consistent requests for speaking engagements. The thing is, I own 3 companies and have a husband and 2 kids at home. Okay. What's your advice on achieving the proper balance where I can successfully speak and not feel like I'm neglecting my family? Wow, that's a loaded question. First off, let me say I don't have kids of my own. I'm not married. So my answer is going to come from my interactions with other speakers who do have families of their own and my personal opinion. So what I've learned from other speakers who do have families of their own is that it is possible to incorporate or involve your family in your speaking business. What do I mean? I know speakers who have negotiated maybe a lower rate, but they're allowed to bring their family with them. So maybe they speaking at a resort, say maybe speaking at Disney World or something like that. The organizer will pay to lodge their family, maybe tickets to resort, so the family can have fun while the speaker does their job. So it's easy to, I won't say easy, it can be done basically. You can incorporate your family with you along your speaking journey, but you also have to realize that you say you have 3 businesses and you have 2 kids. I'm guessing these are young kids. You have to realize, okay, there's speakers out there that speak 10 times a year. There's speakers that speak 20. Some speak 50. Some I know even speak 100 times a year. What is your limit? Now, I'm imagining you have a family, so you won't be speaking 100 times a year. You probably won't be speaking 50 times a year. You may fall between 10 and 20, but those 10 and 20, if you negotiate correctly, if you hit the right audiences, can be just as impactful as speaking in front of 100 different audiences. So just realizing your limit, how much stress can you take? Because being a speaker is stressful, as you know, and just realizing that, okay, you know, I have a family life. I want to be there. I want to be present, but I also want to be present on the stage, be present on the road. What's my balance? How many speaking engagements can I honestly do without it affecting my family life? And honestly, it will affect your family life no matter if you just take one, but how much will it affect your family life? So that's my best answer. I wish I could answer for more of experience, but like I said, I don't have kids. I don't have a wife of my own as of yet. Hopefully one day I will have a beautiful wife. I will have a beautiful wife and kids that look just like me running around. But right now, that ain't me. So hope that helped out. Sorry if it didn't. Question number 4. Do you recommend always implementing a question and answer session with your talk? Yes, yes, yes. Question and answer session is the best way to show you thinking on your feet, thinking on the fly, because it really can't be scripted. Obviously, when you have a question and answer session, depending on the topic you have, people will ask questions related to that topic, but you just don't know exactly what they ask. So it gives a chance for you to show off your knowledge even more. And it also gives a chance for the audience to have a better understanding of whatever it is you're talking about. So if time allows, I would always suggest having a question and answer session. And even if time doesn't allow it, I would suggest asking questions within your talk, or basic questions like, did you understand this? And they give you a head nod, or how do you feel about so-and-so? You get a general answer from the crowd. So implement questions somehow, some way, even if it's not an official question and answer session. But the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. Last question. What's your best memory of your public speaking career? Okay. Ending on a positive note. Well, my best memory of my public speaking career is positive and somewhat sad. And I'd have to say it's the day that I figured out that this was my calling. It's the day that I figured out this is what I wanted to do. It was March 26, 2016. I was competing in a Toastmasters international speaking competition. And basically, I was just telling a story about how my grandmother was getting sick, losing her memory, and just really describing the timeline of, you know, her being active to her barely remembering who I was. I think I was talking about how I used to show her pictures of myself and she just couldn't recognize or just really didn't have any emotion. And as I'm telling this story, I'm in a small library in Decatur. I can't remember the name of the library, but it's a small library. It had about, I would say, 30 to 40 people. And on the back rows, these 2 ladies, they were just crying their eyes out. Tears were just gushing down their face. And it almost threw me off in my speech because it was prominent. But I got through the speech. I did a great job. I think I placed first in that contest. But afterwards, those 2 ladies walked up to me and they just were crying their heart out, talking about how their mother actually went through the same timeline and process as my grandmother. And unfortunately, ultimately, both their mother and my grandmother passed away. But it really hit me then although I was telling a sad story, I found my calling. It was like, wow, your words can affect people. Your words can touch people. Your words can teach somebody a lesson, or your words can motivate somebody. And so that right there, I would say, is my happiest memory. Even though I was talking about a sad story, a sad time of my life, it was happy because I had truly found out what it was I was meant to do. And I don't know how you are the person that asked me this question, but at the time I was 25. In your 20s, a lot of us are struggling to find ourselves. A lot of us are just struggling to figure out what it is we want to do with our lives. A lot of us are lost. And at that time, I did have a degree. I was working a job, but I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And so for me, it was just, the fire was lit. My eyes were wide open. I was like, wow. Something that I had already been doing all my life, whether it be through presentations in college, presenting a project, or just talking to people. I've always been good with talking to people and listening, but something that I always naturally did was something that I could see myself really doing, really taking seriously. So I have to say, the day that I found out that public speaking was my calling is the best memory of my public speaking career. All right. So thank you for these questions. I continue to do this every 4 to 5 tips, give you a break from all of the knowledge I'm trying to provide in the public speaking tip world. Next week, I will upload another public speaking tip. It's called, I think I'm going to call it, Don't Be a Nuisance. And it's just going to be talking about how, as a public speaker, you can annoy people or you can motivate people. And so I'll be uploading that next week. Be on the lookout for that. Hope you enjoyed today. Once again, my name is Julian Leonard, owner of the J Leonard Group, also known as the J Leonard Public Speaking and Coaching Group. If any of you have any more questions or any concerns, need any help, you can always contact me at contact@thejleonardgroup.com. Hope you have a good day, conquer the week, learn something new, and I will see you next week. Peace.